Welcome to the Two-Ton Nerds. As always, my name is Max James.
And my name is Scott Cooper.
And we are the Two-Ton Nerds, as always. Now, Scott, I'm usually the one who picks the topic of the discussion, so I'm going to let you take the honors on this one. So, go right ahead.
That is so kind of you. It means so much to me.
Yeah,
you have
figured that.
No idea. My topic today is actually, we got quite a few we're going to cover, but we're going to be focusing more on the video game aspect.
Okay.
So, Max, I have a very important question for you.
Okay.
What is your most anticipated game coming out this year?
Probably, well, that's easy. Uncharted 4.
Well, I mean this year. Uncharted 4 is next year.
Oh, still Uncharted 4. I can time travel. I already got into the future and grabbed it.
Yeah, so I know what your most anticipated game is. What is your most anticipated game this year?
This year? I don't know. I'm not really into Fallout, so that's not an anticipated game. The new Mad Max game looks pretty good. That, surprisingly, for a kind of a licensed game. But as of right now, it would probably have to be Metal Gear Solid 5. It really has to be.
Are you really looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, to a point, because I really liked 4 a lot. I beat that game left, right, up and down, all A, B, start, and select, you know what I mean? It just...
Yeah.
So, I played every way through it, and so... Except for whatever big boss mode, whatever's, but yeah, I would say yes, I am looking forward to that game.
I'm looking forward to it, but what's your take on all the changes that this game has undergone versus Metal Gear Solid 4 or any of the previous Metal Gears?
I really wish it would kind of stuck to the whole linear storytelling thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it's supposed to be open world or something like that. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fun. And, I'm sure the storytelling will be phenomenal, as always. But when it comes to those games, I kind of want a central story. I mean, how 4 was set up. Because I enjoyed how 4 was set up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you have a centralized story and you follow that story.
Yeah.
And ideally, if I'm not mistaken, 4 was supposed to be the last one, and it is canonly, obviously.
Yeah.
This one being a essential prequel to the first Metal Gear game, and the sequel to Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 3. So I mean, essentially, I guess this is going to be filling that gap, that void of saying, hey, this is why Big Boss made this decision right here. So I guess we get kind of clued in on some things.
So, no, it's been a while. So why does Snake have his arm missing?
I think that has something to do with Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. I think it's explained in that through one of the endings.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I saw that. Because I've beaten Ground Zeroes. I'm just but it just kind of, it's just...
I think, I'm not going to misquote or anything here, but I assume that is explained either at the beginning of the game or through Ground Zeroes. I have not beat Ground Zeroes yet.
It's been a while since I played Ground Zeroes, but I'm looking at the release dates right now. I have to say Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, again.
Do you think that's going to be your more anticipated game this year then?
That and of course WWE wrestling game. You know how I am with those because I'm a diehard wrestling game fan.
So the Uncharted collection, can you explain to me what that is?
Oh yeah, it's the remastered versions of Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and for the PS4, obviously.
Yes.
So I'm just ecstatic because we haven't even covered my PlayStation 3/PS4 story, have we?
We haven't.
No. Okay. So, well, here it is. I had a PS3 since day one, basically, or at least within the first few months of it being out, because I was working at the hotel, saving up money to buy me a PS3. So I've had it since then, and then until this year or last year, it was this year, I think, is when my PlayStation finally crapped out on me. So I was like,
how did it crap out?
Oh, I was playing. I bought a game. I probably shouldn't have bought the game.
What game did you buy?
I bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I enjoyed it. I was having a lot of fun, but I was in the middle of one of those naval battles, and all of a sudden my PlayStation just went blue. My screen went blue, and then it just like, guess what? Too bad. You're not going to be on there no more. You're not going to play.
I know you were having issues beforehand because you had downloaded a spectacular game.
Mario, Little Big Planet karting.
Yeah. And did you download it? And you're like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that was I think I just replaced a hard drive on that one.
Yeah.
And then it fixed it, but I think this was a different story because I couldn't even boot up, and I couldn't even do the what's it called?
Safe mode.
Yeah, I couldn't even do that at all. I wasn't even getting pictures on the screen because with the hard drive problem I had, I was able to do something with the screen, but this time it was different. But anyways,
if you think about it though, in retrospect, before you continue on, how many years did you get out of that thing?
At least 7 and 8, between 7 and 8 years.
That's pretty good for a console. You probably played more than any other console. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've played that thing. I played that PlayStation pretty hard, doing which brings right back to Metal Gear Solid 4, which I did 24-hour gameplay played through that one. I didn't go to bed until I beat that game. I was like one of the
yeah.
So I was like, the PlayStation 3 pretty hard. So I was like, so
how great was that story though?
I thought it was very fun. I liked I was more impressed by the villains more than anything.
Yeah,
like the little boss battles. I had a lot of fun doing them. But
yeah.
Anyways, back to my PlayStation story. It died, and so I sold off my entire collection of games, which eventually paid for my PS4. So, and within those games, I had the Uncharted games and what was it, Last of Us and Saints Row 4. So I'm kind of glad. I'm actually enjoying the remasters. I know a few people who don't like them, but I like the remastered versions of games.
I'm perfectly okay with remasters because the thing is there was a lot of games that came out that, towards the end of the life cycles. Well, I don't want to say towards the end of the life cycles because there's obviously still games coming out for those last gen consoles. But the thing is, though, there's games that, like let's say that you have the Xbox One or the Xbox 360 player who switched over to the PS4. There's these exclusives now that you could not play beforehand that you could just play remastered. I think that's a good benefit because you got things like God of War remastered. You have the Uncharted collection. You have the Final Fantasy X, 10-2 remaster. You have the Last of Us remastered. I mean, it's entirely up to the gamer to buy those games or not.
Mm-hmm.
They're not taking away anything because the studios that are doing them are not the main studios. They're, essentially like Blue Point Games is the one who's doing the Uncharted series. They did Metal Gear, and they also did, if I'm not mistaken, the God of War. At least the first two, I know that. So and I think they did the Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. So they have a lot of experience porting games over and amping them up. So I mean, that's what they do. That's what they're in the business for. It's not like Sony's having Naughty Dog produce, focusing the team instead of Uncharted 4. That team is focusing on that game.
Yeah.
So it's not taking anything away. So I really don't understand the argument because I'm always a fan of more games. And to me, these collections are a really good value because you're getting games that, to me, still hold to this day.
Yeah, and I was looking at the price point, whatever. You're getting pretty much three $60 games for one $60 price tag.
Exactly.
Because me and you have bought each of those games separately when they came out at $60.
At least the last two. I'll admit the first Uncharted, because I didn't buy a PlayStation until 2009, and it was 2009. And my funny story about that is, so I played Uncharted on a friend's PlayStation in 2008, and I was like, I don't know what this game is, but it's pretty fun. I don't think I made it past. I didn't make it really far because I borrowed his PlayStation 3 to actually play Metal Gear Solid 4. So, because that was my most anticipated game for a long time. And then, because I bought a PlayStation and I bought a PS3 in 2009. I bought Uncharted. I bought Batman Arkham Asylum, and I sat down and I beat Uncharted in one day. And because I was extremely excited because Uncharted 2 was coming out, literally not even a month later. So I signed up for the Uncharted 2 beta and played the heck out of it, and was like, this multiplayer is just amazing. Yeah. And then when Uncharted 2 came out, I gotta say that was probably the best game that I had played. One of the best games I had played last gen, just because I was able to play the game. And my mom actually sat down and watched it and was just like, this is just amazing. Like, this is a movie, and it's not like it's like, oh, it's a movie, but the script is terrible. No, it's riveting action, great characterization, great story, and that's the thing. Like, I'm really excited to relive that again. It's not like I couldn't do it, but me, I like to be rewarded in the form of trophies when I play a game. So I also want to see what it's going to be like running on a PS4 running at a full 60 frames per second and running in full glorious HD. So I mean, that's something I'm really looking forward to. And
I can care less about that stuff. I mean, as long as it looks decent, I'm good enough. But I'm not like, I'm more worried about my movies looking good than my games looking good or looking better.
Well, it's not so much as I want the games looking good. I just want them to be crisp. I don't want there to be any, obtrusions or anything like that, or abnormalities. I just want there to be, I want it to be fully engaging. Not like they were before. I mean, that's not like they weren't beforehand, but Uncharted 1 needed some touch up, if you know what I mean. If you look at 2 and 3, Uncharted 1 really could have used some more, and it's the first one, obviously, but it's a night and day comparison between Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the look of it. So that's something I'm really excited about. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't include multiplayer for one of them in there.
Which one?
I mean for any of them, like Uncharted 1, 2, or 3. Because 1 didn't have a multiplayer, but 2 and 3 did, and they're not going to include the multiplayer in those. But you are going to get beta access to Uncharted 4, which, I mean, I'm okay with, but I would have liked to have Uncharted multiplayer to tide me over till then. Mm-hmm. But for $60, I mean, you're getting 3 excellent games. So I do agree with you. That's definitely one of the most anticipated ones. And I'm a person who's okay with these remasters as well. There's actually a few other games I'd love to see remastered. To be quite honest with you. We'll get into that a little bit later, though. So, yeah.
And also Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. I think that looks pretty good, too.
Battlefront looks amazing. It doesn't look like the original Battlefront. Obviously, they're going for more of a Battlefield with Star Wars. But I can say that
pretty close to me.
Yeah, it looks incredible, though. It really does. It looks like it's just going to be absolutely, like, it's either going to be really, really, really good, or it's going to be really disappointing. I don't think it's ever going to be really bad, because I think a bad first-person shooter would be like Medal of Honor.
No.
And then I think, if this is like on the same level as, even like a Battlefield 4 with a Star Wars cover on it, I will be perfectly satisfied with that. I think it's going to be better than that, though. I really do.
Yeah. But, okay, well, back to, Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Long-winded version to get around back to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It just, It just like my anticipation was higher for 4 than it is for 5.
I mean, I think the reason why 4 was such highly anticipated is because we had played Metal Gear Solid 2 in 2001 and 2002. I remember I actually got a really funny story with Metal Gear Solid 2. Spencer, our friend Spencer, he actually had bought the game for his PlayStation 2. We had both been playing Metal Gear Solid like crazy. It's a game he had never beaten. In fact, he had never made it past. You played the original Metal Gear Solid, right?
Some of it.
Okay, so he had never made it past the first initial. I want to say like when you first start out, you go to the back of the elevator, you rise up, and you actually infiltrate the area.
So
he had never made
Shadow
it.
Moses, that area.
Yeah, the Shadow Moses. He never really made it past there because we were always like, ha ha ha, just screwing around. We really didn't know what this game was. So we actually sat down and started playing it, and I'll never forget. It was the first time a game had actually involved me and took me into a cinematic experience. And I was really blown away. I mean, this is 2001. This game had come out in 1998, and I was so blown away that I made my dad take me to Toys R Us and pick up the game for $20, and I started playing it at my house. And Spencer was playing over at his house, and we were having like oh my gosh, did you get to that part? I'm like, yeah, that part was insane. The Psycho Mantis boss fight was so awesome because it made you think, and it made you take the controller out and put it in the other port, which had nothing like that had ever been done in gaming before. So I mean, here we were, like 10 years old, discovering. I mean, immature game, sure, damn our parents for letting us do that, but it was just so stellar. And when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, Spencer had actually purchased it, and the funny thing is we didn't have a memory card. So we were staying up and playing this game. Both of us were, and we were just taking turns. And it was one of those games where it was okay to watch because it's just like, oh man, So it would suck because we had to go to school. I would come back over. Actually, yeah, I'm thinking, and I don't think it was school. We had something to do. I can't remember because I think this was still. I can't remember if this was summertime or not. I don't remember. My memory is fading, but I do remember that we would pick up the game again. And mind you, this has been on pause for like another 16 hours or so, and we're trying to get all the way through it because we want to know what's going to happen. We want to know what's going on. And I'll tell you, midway through, we don't know what's going on. If you've ever played Metal Gear Solid 2, and you're 10, you don't really know what it's speaking to or what it's about. You just know that you're playing somebody different other than Snake, and you're trying to figure out why. And the really funny part about this is towards the end of the game, you've played Metal Gear Solid 2, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So towards the end of the game, you know how the game starts acting like it's messing up on you?
Yeah.
So that's the worst thing to do to a group of 10-year-olds who are thinking the system is going to be overheating. Because we don't have a memory card and we can't save our data, and we're all the way there. So we put in a lot of time at this point in time. We put about 20 solid gameplay hours, and it was that point in time where Spencer will never let me never let this down. His dad comes in and he's like, "Oh, hey, can I have a turn?" And I'm like, "No, you cannot." And I kind of regret that because I was like, I didn't know I was that much of a little dickhead. But Spencer, agreed with me on it though, because it's like we had put so much effort into this, and we thought the game was messing up because we had left it on for so long. And he almost—I'm not even kidding you—his hand was on the button to shut it off. And I said, you know what, just go through it. Maybe this is part of it. And we eventually did, and we beat the game together. And oh my god, it was just an epic experience. It really was.
How cute.
I know. And then, but back to what I was saying though. So Metal Gear Solid 2, we understand what happens there, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 comes out, and 3 threw everybody for a loop because here is a prequel to the Metal Gear line. So I maintain that 3 is probably they're all great games, but 3 might be my personal favorite in there, just because of I like the whole setup of it. It's really, really good. Four was extremely anticipated though by us because obviously we've been waiting for like 7 years to continue this story or to see what was going on in this story.
Yeah.
And we were not. I don't think I was not disappointed at all. It had full closure.
Okay. Let me ask you this: do you think 5 has been whatever the hype has been kind of dampered because of what's been going on at Konami and Kojima and all that stuff?
I never really had a lot of hype for it to begin with, to be quite honest for you. So because I saw it was announced, because it did that whole the Phantom Pain thing with the VGAs a couple years ago. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
what's this? Like, I know I understand a lot of that, but I'm just like, I wasn't. I think the first big hype killer for me was the fact that Kiefer Sutherland is doing the voice for Snake instead of David Hayter.
Oh yeah.
I've come to terms with it now, but I'm like, David Hayter has done Snake's voice for every Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I didn't really understand that. And even David Hayter himself was like, I didn't really understand it either. It was more about the motion capture actor type of deal thing. So, I mean, I understand that. And you know what? I was able to come to terms with it because I was like, you know what? Big Boss will probably have a different voice. Because he had a different voice in Metal Gear Solid 4. So I was like, you know what? I've come to terms with that. But I still wasn't huge into it because I felt like this game just feels and looks different from a Metal Gear game.
It does. It doesn't look different. It just feels different.
It does feel different, and I mean that could be a good thing. Like I said, I'm picking it up. I'm excited to play it. But to go back to what you were asking, yes, that wasn't the first thing that killed. Well, the first thing that killed some of the hype for me, obviously. But the Konami and the Kojima thing going on right now has really, really just made me go, I don't really want to support that company.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hearing stories about how they're treating their people. You're seeing what they did to Kojima, and I mean, like, I was more excited about Silent Hills than I was about Metal Gear Solid 5, and that project was canceled after it was extremely hyped. And like, I was really excited when I saw Metal Gear Online presented, and now I'm really worried that that's not going to be supported because the original Metal Gear Online for Solid 4 was not supported very well by Konami, even though a lot of people played it. It wasn't heavily
I played
supported.
it, and I didn't even really care for it.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It wasn't great, because there was better offerings at the time, but it was still something that I enjoyed a little bit here and there.
Okay.
I mean, the new one looks better.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what's your most anticipated game for this year, for the remainder of 2015?
Let me see. It's probably going to be Fallout 4.
Oh, yeah.
I would definitely say my most anticipated game of this year has already come out. It was Arkham Knight.
Yeah. That's why I said remainder of this year.
Yeah, I know, but I was cluing everybody in and letting them know. Okay. But Fallout 4 is probably the most anticipated one I have, and it's kind of funny because if you'd asked me in April, I would have told you probably obviously Batman, but I would have probably just told you Metal Gear Solid because there wasn't a whole lot out, because since then Bethesda announced, hey, by the way, Fallout 4 is coming out this year. It was like, what? That was pretty cool to announce a game and have it come out only a month later, because they've been working on this thing forever, and I'm really excited for it. I have the Pip-Boy edition pre-ordered, so I'm really excited for that. So the game looks stellar, and it looks like it's going to really deliver on all cylinders. I'm really excited for it. I definitely can't wait for that one.
So, I know we were going to stick to mainly games in this podcast, but I just read something a minute ago. Scott, do you remember when we attempted, or actually we didn't attempt it, we completed the daunting task of all 3 extended editions of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I remember it was 12 full hours and 2 buckets of ice cream.
Now, I just read that the extended edition for Battle of the Five Armies will be coming out in November. Are you going to come back to Indiana so we can do those 3 movies?
Unfortunately, I don't see that on my timetable at the moment.
Darn. But I do have some incentive, though. But apparently, according to Warner Brothers, the extended edition of The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, will be actually rated R.
That's what I heard. I did hear that. So you're going to take this family-friendly book, and you're going to turn it into an R-rated thing. You know what? And the thing is,
a book and a movie is 2 different things. You can probably, the dialogue, the imagery on screen is a little bit more intense than some lines in a book. I'm not taking what I love to read. I'm just saying that the rules for books and movies are very, very different.
You want to know a funny thing? I've not seen one of the Hobbit movies.
Well, you know what?
What?
We can't be friends now.
Well, no. I think I told you before my view on the Hobbit movies. I did not like the book. The Hobbit was is my least favorite appendage.
I think that's like actually one of my first real major books that I read when I was a kid.
See, I read all the Lord of the Rings books, and then I read The Hobbit, and I was like, you know what? This is not. It's good, but it's not great. It did not invoke me and enthrall me like the actual Lord of the Rings series did. But the cool thing though about it is that I like some of the effects that I've seen and everything like that. But like I said, I just haven't. What I was waiting for, I was waiting for the last one to come out. Yeah. And I just haven't got around to watching all of them yet. Yeah. I was waiting for the extended editions because I believe that's the only true way to enjoy those movies is to watch them in their entirety, how they were supposed to be seen.
Yeah, I have the extended versions of Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies, and my dad has the theatrical versions of the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So we both have them both, and just in various forms. So, but the thing is, I would always choose the extended versions, no matter how long they are, just because they're just complete movies. That's my reason.
Yeah, they have you can't really notice it a lot, but there is a lot of content in those that it just kind of like without that it just jumps from scene to scene. Yeah. So I was more, I really did enjoy the 12-hour sit down. If you guys have not done anything like that, I recommend you grab a friend or two, sit down, prepare yourself, turn out the lights, lock the windows, put the shades on.
We didn't finish. I don't even remember how we just thought didn't we just do that just out of a whim?
It was a whim because you were like, oh yeah, because I think we were discussing. We might have been discussing the Hobbit movies. I can't remember though, but I know that we were.
No, this is before the Hobbit movies started even coming out.
Well, this is when it was announced though. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, the Hobbit movies like 2012. Right, 2012, 13, and 14, right?
I have no idea.
And this was going later into like a month or so before I left. So, yeah, I think we might have been talking about the Hobbit movies, or we might have been talking about something, or maybe I think somebody like said they watched all the Harry Potters or all the Star Wars.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we were like,
I think that's what it was. I don't.
Yeah. And we were sitting there and we were just like, you know what? Let's just start watching Lord of the Rings. And we started at, I think, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we ended at around 2:30, 3 in the morning.
No.
It was a pretty epic watch fest. It was nice to sit down and watch that series that was supposed to be watched. And I think the cool thing about it is the cinematography did not change.
It felt like all three of them felt
one
connected.
Movie.
You know what I mean? It didn't feel different.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate.
But you know what? What's really funny is that I have never done that for Star Wars. I don't think.
I think we planned on doing that because the Blu-rays came out, and we got really ticked off when the Blu-rays had a lot of changes to them.
Oh, because they weren't the theatrical versions of them.
Yeah, I think Disney's fixing that though.
I do want theatrical versions out.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not. I mean, I could care. It just. What was it? I think I was talking to. Little technical difficulty, but what I was saying is that I had a conversation with someone that I'm more forgiving in some things. I don't get bothered by some things, and the changes to the Star Wars stuff doesn't bother me. But even though I do prefer the theatrical versions of the Star Wars trilogy, so that's what I was saying before. My garage band so rudely interrupted us. So
yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, I don't know. Oh, back to the Lord of the Rings. I'm planning on the ultimate day is all extended versions of all those movies.
That's gonna be a long day.
I know. See, but the thing is, what I'm saying is that we proved to myself that I could watch all 3 extended movies, and that's what I'm like. You know what? I want to try to one up myself. That's what I really want to do is one up myself with adding the Hobbit movies in there.
Yeah, it would be 24 hours.
Well, it comes out in November, so
yeah,
and I'm sure it's gonna be nice and cold by that time, hopefully. So it'd be a good day, probably a good time to do a cool marathon of all of them, and that'd be a great video. Me kind of.
There you go. We need a continuous shot of like if you look at how tired you're gonna get,
or like a little small review of the movie and time of after each movie, just kind of like show that I'm actually doing this.
Yeah.
And so I've actually done that in the past, but I haven't. I've had it edited a little bit, then I decided to discontinue. What was I watching? I can't remember what movie I was doing. I was doing it like a trilogy. I know I was, but I can't remember what movie. Oh, I was doing the Star Trek movies, the original ones. I started with motion picture, and I got like the number 4, and then I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. But just because that was kind of on a whim too. It's like, you know what? I don't even care. I'll just kind of keep on, and didn't really care. I wasn't too invested in that project, but I would probably be more invested in doing the Hobbit / Lord of the Rings.
That's definitely something that you can do later this year.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very excited. I will buy that one. I won't wait for Christmas on that one, because that's always been kind of a guarantee Christmas gift, because I would always put the Hobbit on a Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings on my Christmas list, and I would always get it that Christmas. So I might have to break tradition just so I can do that for the 2-ton nerds.
There you go. But yeah, so back to
games.
Back to our original topic. Anticipated games. Like we've touched a little bit on Metal Gear. We've touched on Uncharted.
Yeah.
Definitely another one. We touched on Battlefront 2 a little bit and Fallout 4. Definitely one that is on my not.
You mean Battlefront 3?
Well, yeah, essentially. But one that's on my not so anticipated list this year because of someone giving someone head somewhere is Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm not. I gotta say that,
you have no idea how mad that makes me. That's up there with Lego Dimensions mad.
Well, we're gonna hit on that in a minute too.
We already talked about it.
No, we're gonna hit on that full force.
Okay, because we talked about it with Lance in the last podcast.
Well, we're gonna talk about. Let's just talk about it right now. Lego Dimensions is up there with wiping your ass with a cactus.
Okay.
You
Anyways,
think it's gonna? You
Tomb
think
Raider.
it's gonna be? You think it's gonna be? No, Lego Dimensions. We'll go back to Tomb Raider. Lego Dimensions is, you think it's gonna be good, and then Warner Brothers Games is like, hey, you know what would make this really cool? Is you have to buy little figures to play as the characters. That's gonna make it awesome. And we're like, no, it's not. I had to break the news the other day to somebody at work.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
2 people at work, saying, hey, what are you guys? I was like, what's your guys' most anticipated game? And they're like, oh, we're looking for the Lego Dimensions. It comes out next month. I'm like, let me break your bubble there. So it's $100 for the game, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, and you gotta buy the minifigures. Oh, it's one of those. I'm like, yeah, god damn it. We were really looking forward to that. I'm like, yeah, Scott, why'd you disappoint us? Because I had to. Because you had to know. But yeah. Anyways, Lego Dimensions can go wrap itself up in a nice little, Lego wrapper and shove itself up its own ass for all I care. But let me talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider. So,
I'm furious about that.
So, what confuses me is, I mean, we've known about this for a while now. Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to be, timed exclusive
for 1 year
for Xbox for 1 year.
From November of 2015 to November 2016.
Which is confusing to me because Tomb Raider originally started off on PlayStation and Sega consoles. With the first Tomb Raider, I think it was the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation, and then Tomb Raider kind of became a go-to for PlayStation,
right?
With Tomb Raider 2, 3, and even on the PlayStation 2, where they weren't as good. Obviously, we had Angel of Darkness, and there was another one in there too. Yeah. They weren't performing as well, and they released some other ones on PS3 and Xbox 360, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of like more lighthearted ones. I can't remember the one they released. It was more like an indie title, but it was trying to take Laura back to her roots. Then they rebooted the series with Tomb Raider, which borrowed a lot from the way Naughty Dog does Uncharted.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
It wasn't. Let me make my point. My point is that they borrowed a lot from Uncharted. But with that, they were able to show Lara Croft as a character. We both enjoyed Tomb Raider. I think we've talked about that before.
Oh yeah.
We really did enjoy that game. We were anticipating it. I think we both bought it on launch day, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I didn't get it until it was a free game, I think.
Oh, okay. So like a year or two later.
Yeah, that was just one of those games where I just didn't get around to buying it, but I had a PlayStation Plus membership and it was a free game, and I download and play.
It was worth it though for me because I picked it up day one, and I beat it, and I was really really engaged in it. Really good storytelling, some really creepy moments in it as well. There was some really good art direction. I really liked it. So we were really looking forward to what was next with Lara Croft, and then they announced the definitive edition for going back to that remaster discussion, the definitive edition for PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, which I bought.
Yeah, I bought it, never opened it up. I put it back. I actually took it back. I never opened it up because there was something else that I wanted to play at the time, and I was like, I'm not going to have time for Tomb Raider. But it was really funny because I had read reports that the definitive edition was selling a lot better on the PS4 than the Xbox One, because obviously the PS4 had more of a user base. So when Microsoft announced they were having at the time they tried to say it was an exclusive Tomb Raider to Microsoft, I was a little bit pissed off because I'm not going to buy a Microsoft console because I'm not going to waste my money on something like that. If you're a Microsoft gamer out there, awesome, good for you. I'm not trying to be a fanboy. I'm just saying that there's no games that interest me on those consoles because I'm not a heavy first-person shooter fan. I'm not a heavy Gears of War fan, and I'm not a heavy racing fan. So I pretty much just limited Halo, Gears of War, and Forza. And to me, those are the three big games for Xbox. And I also don't really like the community too much. That's just me personally. And I've always been an avid Sony player as well as Nintendo back in the day before they broke my heart. But essentially, when Rise of the Tomb Raider was announced as a timed exclusive, even just a holiday exclusive, it's like, okay. My problem with it is, so Square Enix is the one who does, who owns it now.
All right, we don't need a backstory. Just get on with your thoughts.
I'm getting on with so Square Enix is the one that owns it now. So Square has always essentially been a PlayStation backer. Why they did this, I'm pretty sure Microsoft threw them oodles and oodles of money because Microsoft was hoping this would be their Uncharted killer, or at least something to rival Uncharted. But here's my problem with it. It's not an exclusive title. It's just a timed exclusive. So all you're doing with that timed exclusivity is pissing off Sony gamers. Well, because it's essentially what you're doing, because Uncharted 4 is not going to come out until like the middle of 2015 probably. Or 2016, sorry. And by that time, people are going to be like, oh, did you play that Rise of the Tomb Raider game? Because I don't remember it, because there's been other games that have come out since then. And here's, Uncharted 4, cool. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4 now. Just to play Uncharted. Because I hear it was fantastic. And then you have, us Sony gamers who are just going to be like, okay, let's play Uncharted. Awesome. And then after that, we're like, well, what else is there to play? And then here comes Tomb Raider, 6 months later, after Uncharted does come out. And we're like, wow, this is pretty lackluster. Because we were spoiled for Uncharted 4. And now we have this game. Because it's like, I don't know, I think it's a bad business decision. And they're really going to notice it when the sales don't do so well.
Nah,
because
I think it will do fine.
I don't think so, because I don't know if you know that I'm pretty sure it releases the same day Fallout 4 does. And I'm like, that's the stupidest decision I've ever seen. Because one, you make it an exclusive for, by the way, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but adventure games on Xbox consoles have never done quite so well. I mean, you look at the one initially came out with, because they had like that Rise game, and then Dead Rising 3, which I was a little pissed off as well, was an exclusive. But seeing the quality of it, I wasn't so mad. I wasn't so angry after I saw how awful it looked. But I mean, adventure games don't have a huge following on the Xbox One console that I've seen, at least, or at least something that says to me. Because I mean, look at Sony's offerings. We got The Last Guardian. That's a pure adventure game, and everyone is excited for that game. I know you're probably not, because it's not your cup of tea.
What game?
What's that? The Last Guardian.
Actually, I played Ico and Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, so I mean, those games are pure adventure games, and then we also have the Uncharted series. I mean, we are looking forward to the Uncharted series. I mean, and just like, and just Uncharted 4 looks to be like a groundbreaker. It looks to be like it's going to just be absolutely amazing. So when Rise of the Tomb Raider, you tell me, hey, sorry, but Microsoft paid us money. We're just going to go ahead and keep this exclusive for a year. All you're telling me is you don't want your game to sell. And it's going to be really sad when the PS4 version outsells the Xbox One version. And you can quote me on this. It'll outsell the Xbox One version when it's all said and done, even though the Xbox One version had a whole year to sell.
I think it'll be just fine. I know they're just wanting the whole like, I got it first, boo boo, that crap, and then it may have some other whatever we'll call it. I have no idea what I'm going with this. Yeah, Fallout 4 and Tomb Raider do release on the same day, but thing is, if it did have on both systems, I would have picked up Rise of the Tomb Raider over Fallout any day.
But you are a adventure game fan, though.
Yeah.
That was my whole spiel about that is, you're going to eliminate your user base. Like I said, the system that the definitive edition sold the most on for, a little bit of chunk of change for Microsoft and for a lot of PR. I don't understand that decision. I'm really confused. I'm angry that it's not coming out for because it's a game I wanted to play, and I'll still probably play it. But it's like, to me, there has been no definitive reason why it had to be done, other than the whole, like what you just said. Haha, we got it first. Aren't we cool? Buy our system. I understand that, but it's like,
did Microsoft do that with? No, Microsoft did that with Grand Theft Auto, didn't they? With 4.
They tried to do that with Grand Theft Auto 4, and like it backfired on them kind of, because I remember like during an E3, Peter Moore, who no longer works for the company, works for EA, so I can tell you what type of douchebag he is. Unveiled, like, he's like, "Oh, check out my cool tattoo."
Yeah.
And it said Grand Theft Auto 4 on it, and it was just like, okay. And they tried to pass it off like it was going to be exclusive to them. And Sony comes out during their conference saying, "Hey, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 4 looks pretty cool, doesn't it?" So it's just like, really, like I said, I don't want to sit here and hate on the Xbox Nation. I've gotten a lot more respect for it than I have in previous years, and I really try to be unbiased. But I just, the way, I will commend them for backwards compatibility. That's really cool. I'm kind of jealous of that. I'm not gonna lie. But it's not a make or break thing for me. So it's just, the Rise of the Tomb Raider thing. Like I said, if you could give me a valid reasoning why that is done, I might be okay with it. But I don't think anyone can provide me a valid reason.
Money.
And that doesn't work for me, because here I am with money in my hand. I want to give you money, and you won't take my money for a game. Like, that to me is dumb.
It's money. That's all it boils. Yeah. That's all that boils down to.
Because like, I'm okay with this whole, like, release the game multi-platform, but the DLC, make that exclusive to say, oh, this is the console we're going to back. So had they would have said, hey, we're releasing the game on both consoles, but Microsoft gets the DLC first, I would have said, cool, awesome.
Didn't they do that with Arkham Knight? They had different DLC on.
No, well, they did, but Sony has got the DLC for that. Generally, WB Games always backs up Sony with exclusive content, generally when it comes to the Batman games. I know you get the, I'm not going to tell you which packs you get or anything like that, but you do get some exclusive content that at least stays there until
Speaking of money, I don't think that's worth my money.
What is?
The season pass.
What's that?
I just don't think, because, okay, the reason why is that I'm sure the dollar amount will equal out in the end. I'm sure of that. But I don't think the content will be equal to the dollar amount in the end.
And I understand where you're coming from. Because, and my thing is if the only reason why I bought it was because I'm a huge Batman fan.
We're take that out of the equation. We're not going to. We know you're a Batman fan.
And that's what I'm going to do, because I'm actually going to side more with you on it. Because $40 is a lot for a season pass,
right? Because I'm going this because it's coming from someone who doesn't buy season passes unless it's a game that I absolutely want, like Saints Row 4. I bought that season pass, and then but anyways, but when I was like season pass $40, I'm like, okay, so there's gonna be a lot of content coming out. And it says over this next 6 months. So I think December will be the final DLC for it, whatever.
December or January.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I was just like, I was trying to figure out the time frame of all the DLC. I mean, like when it comes to character skins and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. But when you kind of add in DLC for storyline content, that's where it kind of makes or break everything, because the whole Harley Quinn pack, that thing was so short, it wasn't even funny. And then I seen how much that Red Hood pack was. It was like, what, a couple bucks?
It's a couple dollars. I mean, free with season pass, obviously.
Yeah, and then like $7 for Matter of the Family or whatever. Some like, but when you break down time wise for each of those, I don't think they actually equal to what I think should be. I mean, I know the whole what's that thing, dollar, like what's that thing, $1 an hour, or is it like $10 per hour? Is that or?
I mean, it totally depends. I mean, here's the thing: if you're not going to enjoy it, because you got to look at the Harley Quinn and the Red Hood thing a little bit differently, because those are just pre-order bonuses, and those are just kind of added in to the effect of it. Those weren't going to be very long anyway. Those are going to be about 20 minutes at tops, probably. They're good. They're good for pre-order bonuses, but it was thrown in for the season pass owners because obviously it's like, hey, you're getting everything, so here's this. The Matter of Family was a little bit more lengthier, and it all depends on how much exploration you want to do. If you just do straight to the story, you can beat it in an hour, 2 hours, which to me is, essentially that's worth $5-6, not worth $7 or $8 you're asking for, but $5 or $6. I think that's worth it. It's great gameplay, and it's nice to see. It's nice to see some of the little nuances and things like that. But like I said, I'm a Batman fan, so I'm going to look at I'm looking at this through biased eyes anyway. But I will say that the August stuff that they come out with, the 1989 stuff, is really nice. It's worth the price that you pay for it. That, and I will say that the one thing that I'm really looking forward to is it's kind of exciting to go, okay, what am I going to get this month for this game? What's coming out for me what's coming out for me next month, and they kind of give you clues and hints. And there's been a few rumors that have been dropped, that's actually going to be involving in the story, more characters involving in the story. So that to me is a lot more exciting because I really enjoyed Arkham Knight, and they're talking about adding in like Killer Croc and Bane and things like that. And to me, that's worth it because the side quests are pretty amazing. And if I think that's what everyone's kind of looking at is, I want a real boss battle in these games, because Arkham Asylum and Arkham City delivered on boss battles. Unfortunately, Arkham Knight did not. I will tell you that.
All right. Well, the thing is, all right. Okay. The thing is, I am a little bit more conscious when it comes to this, or careful, because I don't know. Do you buy DVDs?
I don't.
Okay, see, this is where I come into play on this, because I buy DVDs and I have to have certain amount of special features on there in order to really warrant a buy. It's like I have DVDs that don't have no special features on there, but I bought just for the movie, and that's basically the game without the season pass. So when I buy a DVD, I want fun. I will spend the extra money for a special edition or a special case, or because to me it warrants it. Like you said, it's like because you're a Batman fan, but I just don't see and so I'm comparing like how the special features of the game. That's basically what I'm doing. Is like, okay, all the future DLC slash special features, are they going to be worth the extra money to put towards, like, what I'm talking about? But
yeah, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, because
just like, here's a what's it called, example. I bought the Prometheus DVD, the Blu-ray edition with the 3D copy in it. It cost a little bit more, but it has like a 3.5-hour documentary to it, and that to me was worth the buy for the extra money because it came with an extra disc and the documentary. And that's what I'm just trying to. That's to me is the DLC on the thing worth just like the 3.5-hour documentary on the Prometheus DVD? And to me, it's just not being warranted as a buy quite yet.
Well, that's the thing. You're looking at it through, a conscious eyes. I understand that. my thing is it's not going to be worth it to you now at all, because when you're gonna probably want it when you see everything out, but at that point in time you're just gonna I'm just gonna wait for the Game of the Year edition.
I probably won't even
So
buy that
yeah,
because the thing is, if they would release, okay, I know they're going to, whether it's rumored or confirmed, I don't even know about the Arkham Asylum and City. They're going to be coming out on the PlayStation as remastered. So, but I want Origins in there too, because they have plenty of DLC on that game. Like the whole Mr. Freeze stuff, and I'm like, why can't you put that in there as well? And so I was like, so I'm just rambling. Sorry.
I mean, I do want I want that art. That was one of the remasters I really want, is the Arkham. I mean, I don't know. You have to look at it through, if you are truly into the game, and you're going to do you enjoy the race things, and you enjoy playing with different costumes and things like that, season pass is for you. If you don't enjoy those type of things, if the aesthetic design, you're not really like, it's a costume, I'm done with the game, you're not going to enjoy it right now, you're not going to think it was worth your money. I get into this, it's not really an argument with people, but I get into this conversation with people, at work. They're like, oh man, how you enjoying all that awesome DLC you're getting? And I'm just like, you know what, I go, it's a 6-month period of time, I'm paying $40 for it. Essentially, I mean, that's the same price you're paying for a Call of Duty season pass. I think you actually pay more for a Call of Duty season pass now. It's $50. But I mean, if I enjoy it, to me, it was worth the money in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, see, like that $40 in my world. All right. So you buy games all the time, right?
Sure.
And I buy DVDs all the time. And that's how I know it's apples and oranges basically, but that's how I make my video game purchases, is because I compare them to DVD purchases. Is like, all right, my sister just bought The Walking Dead for me for my birthday, season 5,
yeah.
And that was $40, and I see that as an excellent choice because it's Blu-ray. It's high def stuff, has plenty of special features, audio commentaries, all that stuff. That to me is every worth of that dollar spent. And Safari will know that I will take care of it and all that stuff. But when I just look at the season pass currently and how much it costs, $40, it just to me isn't warranting a purchase. It just kind of like, I know it just doesn't feel like a purchase. It doesn't feel like the $40 is going to be well spent. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but you're one of those people though that reads the back of the because you based off DVDs. You read the back of the DVD and see what special features are in it, so you want to know everything that's in it before you actually buy it. And that's the thing with the season pass, is you don't know what's going to be in it, and you're worried that this purchase may not warrant it, because it could be something that's really disappointing.
Well, the thing is, okay, well, then what they should have done is not, they didn't. So the season pass things, okay, they should have like tweaked the description a little bit, saying, all right, you're going to get tons of skins and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, that to me, that actually was very exciting, because I do like the 1989 Batman, because I grew up on the 1989 Batman and the 1991 Batman. I think that's when it came out, right? Second one,
1989 and 1992 for Batman Returns.
Whatever. So I grew up on those two Batman. So like, yes, okay, that's awesome to me. That's nostalgia, 110%. But what they should have done they should have announced the length of hours of the content of the DLC, of the story-based stuff. It's like, okay, like, they should have gave a good estimate, saying the matter of the family it could be between 1 and 2 hours. And then they should have just added it all up and say, all right, you're going to get such and such between like what 6 and 8 hours of additional storyline based DLC. Plus, that would have been probably a little different for me if they would have done it that way.
Either way, I mean, I just I'm so far. I think I'm the only one I know that actually has a season pass. And I don't regret my purchase yet. I've enjoyed the content. I've played around with all of it. I really have.
I'm sure you do. I mean, it's just okay. That's like I said. Like I know I'm keep going harping back to this whole DVD thing. It's just like because DVDs and games are more similar nowadays than anything because of the DLC. So it's like that's how I base my. Like I said, like that's how I base my stuff. It's like if I'm going to spend $60 on a game, I'm going to have. And with no special features, that's perfectly okay. I mean, online is kind of given. That's like a few. That's like the trailers and stuff like that to me. But then if I'm going to spend like $60 on a movie, I better have a lot of special features and stuff like that. So it's just. That's just. I expect more out of games. You know what I mean?
Well, and the game is going to be more content-wise, versus a movie. That's going to be generally, unless it's The Order. Did you ever beat The Order?
No, not yet. I haven't played that all the way. I've been so busy. I've been watching that 70s show because I've been in such a bad mood. And then I started that from the beginning. Then I'm watching The Guild. And I'm behind on my one-a-day X-Files. And I'm behind on Doctor Who just because I've all been in a bad mood, basically, for the last couple of weeks. Just like, oh, God.
Oh, that's not good.
I haven't even... See, like, you know what? To be honest with you, the last big fun I had in terms of, like, gaming and movie-wise was, well, just a few hours ago when I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd the movie, but was Goat Simulator. I had a lot of fun playing that on the PS4 just because it was mindless fun and just going around kicking people and having that Dragonborn shout, and I was like, oh, okay. So that was the last time I really had fun playing a game. And
so Max, let me segue into this next part then. I want you to review Goat Simulator.
It was fun. That's probably the best way to put it. It's okay. Was it worth See, now, okay, that's perfect right there. Because that game was, what, $8? Or
yeah.
$8 to $9. See, that was every worth the money that I spent on that game. Because there's a lot to do in that content, in that game. I mean, from kicking people... I know it kind of gets a little repetitive, but if you have an imagination, you can have fun with it. But if you compare it to the Matter of the Family stuff, it's like, well, I know it's two different stuff, but it's just like you get more out of this game than that game for the same price. And it's like, oh man. But anyways, back to the game, Goat Simulator. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had just fun running into people and all the fun Easter eggs and finding everything and the ragdoll physics. I give it a good 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only reason why it's not a perfect score is just because if you give it a perfect score, it'd probably say it's a perfect game, and this game isn't perfect. It's just fun, and a good 4 out of 5 is a good way to say it. It's just fun.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Well, Scott, I know that there's one game that you want to talk about, but sadly, we are out of time.
I understand.
But I'm sure next time we can get to it. So, okay, I know I might get a lot of, flack for what I had to say about the DVD / worth of the games or whatever, how you lay it out on the table. But is there anything, final words that you want to say?
I want everyone to know that I officially work for Sony now.
That's good.
I want everyone to know that, so I'm credible when it comes to sources.
Oh, God. So now I know a person who's in the inside. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I'll be able to go to some of the shows now and everything like that, and get us some more notoriety when it comes to the trade shows and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay. Know what my final words is?
Chicken butt.
No. Even better.
What?
The season pass isn't worth $40.
It's too bad.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll pick that conversation up again after.
We will after everything's out.
Yeah, we'll probably remember. We have to. I'll write that down.
I'll remember. I'll make a mental note of it. And when something's released and it's like, oh, season pass holders only, and you're like, oh, I really want that, I'm gonna be like, hey, you remember this?
Well, okay, no, okay. Well, I'll extend the time for a minute just because you said that. Okay, me wanting it and putting the cost versus how much content I'm thinking about getting is two different things.
What if
Okay,
it was announced? What if the DLC that was announced was 7 more side missions for this main story?
7 more.
7 more.
Okay, but it has. What does the hours equal out to?
Well, depending on the side missions.
Okay,
I would say
think about this.
I would say about a good 4 to 5 hours more.
Nah, I wouldn't do it.
Not even with everything else that's included.
No.
4 to 5 hours more.
No, because because how much was the Left Behind DLC? $10?
15.
$10.
It's 15.
It's 10.
It was 15 when it was released.
Well, I didn't pay attention. Yet again, with more technical difficulties for some reason during this podcast. Okay, we'll just end it here. I'm sure we'll get into it again on the next Thursday's episode. So
yes, and we're gonna have a preview and a possible review on Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, because it comes out next Tuesday.
That's correct.
So there we go. Okay. As always, my name is Max James.
And my name is Scott Cooper.
And we are going to go geek out.